as I sit here now, about to eat a small amount of pasta, but with a disgraceful amount of cheese. My dad is about 5.5 hours or so away from having a quadruple heart bypass. Now, my dad's only in his 50s. 3 weeks ago, a few hours earlier in the evening, I'd been doing a live stream and we were celebrating 50,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel. It was fantastic. Within 48 hours of that high point, I was taking my dad's supplies to the local A&E because he'd been sent there for, well, problems with his heart and something that seemed to have been under control suddenly becoming irregular and out of control. After he got through the A&E process, they said, right, we'll take you in now and we'll send you off for stents. And so then you've got all of the concern and worry about that, and you're thinking, oh, stents, oh, it sounds horrible. And just, yeah, it's just an unpleasant thing, but you think, well, at least it's going to be done, and that'll be that. So after a few days on his hospital ward, he goes off to have his stents put in. And he goes in, he's the last one of the day, so he's hanging around for hours. And he comes out and he knows, because you're awake when they do that procedure, that he hasn't had them put in. And I get a message just saying, right, don't panic, it's not the end of the world, but it's really bad news. And they basically said that his arteries or veins, or whatever it is, I don't understand, and I don't want to look into it because it's too horrible to think about happening. They're just too damaged and clogged or whatever. You're going to need a full heart bypass. And so it's taken about 3 weeks now to get to that point. And obviously incredibly stressful for him. He's been plucked out of his normal day-to-day life and stuck out on a hospital ward for all this time. I better eat some of this before it goes cold. That is so nice. Absolutely lovely, and the outrageous amount of cheese is spilling over. Brilliant. So of course it's been a horrendous time for him, plucked out of day-to-day life and suddenly stuck in hospital, not doing anything, and just having to think for a couple of weeks about a full heart bypass and all of the things that happen with that, all of the recovery, all of the risks. Getting really, really windy out here. I'm going to have to retie some of these. So, well, he's been in hospital. I've also, in this bizarre way, been plucked out of my day-to-day life and airdropped into just a normal sort of family life, because my dad, I've actually got a sister, 25-year age gap, so I've got a 12-year-old sister coming up to her birthday. And so suddenly I've gone from living a life, deliberately doing everything I could to avoid having children and having a normal life, raising a family and so on, to being plucked out, like I say, of that all-time high moments of, yes, we've got loads of content coming, we're camping, we're doing all this great stuff in the outdoors, amazing trips up mountains, 50,000 subscribers, wow! I basically was always stressed and rushing around in my life, trying to do stuff for the internet. But my goodness me, I would go back to those days and think that it was no stress at all right now, as you can probably imagine. And so I found myself doing the school run and things like that, and it's just this utter different world I've been dropped into. And of course, the backdrop to all of the stress and chaos is trying to keep myself afloat. Now I suddenly don't have any time to do half of what I need to do on the internet. And then also run the household and all the rest of it, pick up where my dad left off. And then, of course, I've got the background radiation of worry of the fact that my dad's in hospital, stuck there, and needs me to take him stuff and needs general moral support. And of course, right now, let me show you something. Don't know if I can get this on camera properly. It's 20 to 3 in the morning right now. That is 20 to 3. And I'm here eating in a field, in a little bit of woodland, in a field. I'm eating pasta with all of this wonderful cheese, don't get me wrong, because I know I'm not sleeping tonight. I expect to hear something from the hospital tomorrow afternoon. I don't know when this video will go live, but this is my moral support. All of the people who are regular viewers, they're my moral support. But as you can imagine, it's been an educational time. Like I say, I didn't know what stress was. I didn't know what fear was. I've always been a bit of a worrier and stuff like that. But the absolute reality is right now, I know I've never had worries before. I've never been frightened before in my life. But until this last few weeks, I've never known that, to be honest. This video doesn't have an end point, I'm afraid to tell you. There's not going to be any sleeping or camping. I've got my sleeping bag and my bivvy bag and everything somewhere here. I hope it's still there. So I will lie down, wrapped up, warm. But let's be real, there's no sleeping going to happen. Even now it's really dark until late in the morning, so I could get away with being asleep completely hidden here for a long, long time into the day, into the usable, workable daylight hours. I know, like I say, 5 hours or so, what's going to be happening to me dad. And in a strange way, we were talking and he was saying, it's like, well, at least he's not going to know about it. He's going to wake up in a day or two, and it's hard to say in intensive care. I don't know why I find that so difficult. That's what's caught me and put a wobble in my voice. I was doing well in this video then to keep it nice and even toned. But I honestly can't stress enough how utterly educational this week has been for me, and how much it's put stuff into perspective. It's definitely solidified in my mind that I never wanted kids. It's great. I don't hate kids or anything like that, but I certainly. Oh, sorry, the auto tracking's just kicked in. I do apologise. Waving my arms around too much. I've always said I never wanted kids, and I now know definitely yet. I'm just not built for the stress, the hassle, and everything like that comes along with parenting. But one thing I am happy about is that in a time of genuine crisis, where my dad's entire life has suddenly been stopped and he's got all these responsibilities going in every direction, I've at the very least been able to step up and give a very good account of myself, I think. I've tried to not let anybody see how scared I am and worried. I've tried to not let my sister see just how serious the situation was. And as I say, ultimately, I feel like it's taught me I've never before felt fear. I've never before had any responsibility. I've never before had any genuine concern in my life, and I've rarely had such big things that are out of my actual control. I simply can't go out and work harder. I can't work more hours to get money to solve a problem or to buy something to fix the situation. It's like there's no getting away from it. It's dragged on for weeks. It's horrible, and it's going to be weeks and then months ultimately of recovery, where I'm still going to be basically on site as the non-paid hired help to make sure that he doesn't get into any scrapes around the house and so on. You know, for I don't know how long it is, but for a while afterwards, he's not allowed to raise his arms above shoulder height. And again, that makes me feel a little queasy thinking about the reasons why. So this, I'm afraid, is just a general ramble of me here in the woods, approaching 3 a.m, trying to sort of distract myself and make myself feel better. And sometimes the terror of the darkness surrounding me in the woodlands and the weird noises you hear and the creaking branches, sometimes it seems that is the more palatable option than lying in bed thinking about all of these things and all of the what ifs. And like I say, I'm happy that I've managed to get through this video till trying to say the word intensive care without having a big wobble. Perhaps I'm just too tired at this point to think and process anything anymore. But yeah, until tomorrow afternoon when I get that phone call from the hospital saying, oh, it's all good, he's going to be asleep for a day or so now, speak to you soon. I'm basically going to be doing this, filling the void. Yeah. And I suppose I'd just like to thank everybody who watches these videos. I know I've mentioned it a few times in live streams and stuff, so thank you for all the messages of support. Thank you for, as I've said before, letting me run around and film these things and try and convince my other half that people do actually watch these videos. But I think right now I need to stop talking, get eating, and find something else scary that's in the woods that'll distract me for another 5 minutes just to get me closer to tomorrow afternoon and that phone call. Right, thank you very much, my friends, for absolutely everything, for all the supporters and all the channel members and everything like that. And just, as I always say, just for watching. Right now, thank you just for watching me over the years. Right, I love you all, my friends. Thank you for everything. This is definitely time to stop the recording. Thank you. See ya.